Huh?
You were standing on a high rise by
No,
your barracks?
Highland, parking lot kind, and there was a stairs going down to the road. There's a good flight, about 12 steps, and there was an inspection coming, so one of the firing batteries trucks, the big 10-ton trucks, was cleaning his chains on the pavement, and that knocked all the mud and everything out. But they were supposed to stay out on the airport, but he came in right where we were, and Corporal Cameron was walking in the grass there, and on this side of the road, the markings on the side of the road were bombs, empty bombs, but that's what made the hole, like you put up pipes and stuff. Our bombs were stuck in head first and the fins around. Well, this truck went around a kind of a curve, and the chain went around and wrapped around it, and then unwrapped and banged into Corporal Cameron, and he went up in the air and fell. George, the company clerk was looking out his window, and he says, "You jumped that whole flight of stairs and never touched him," and all the way down. Ran over to him. He's trying to get up, and I said, "Don't get up, don't get up. We'll get some help." And he was in bad shape. But then the first sergeant and another sergeant came back down in an old Mercedes, and what are you doing? And I said, well, he just got hit by the chains on a truck, and the truck was battery number 415, on the bumper. They backed all the way up to the clinic, and that car just going backwards. They make a lot of noise, but I stayed and talked to him, and finally they got the medics down there, and he wasn't even hurt. But I thought his back was them chains hitting him, and he went so far up, and nothing was ever. Oh, and then I had the bridge collapse.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, then
was that in Germany too?
Yeah, that was, and we had and they had a nice park in Germany, trees and a nice walking bridge to get to a restaurant down there, and we'd go quite a bit. And a German young man showed us it, and not many GIs went there, but they liked us, so they let us go there. And it was froshing. That's a fall harvest time, So we had the four of us. We came up the path and we crossed the bridge. It's a footbridge, not a car bridge, and we just cleared it, and we were eating some kind of a treat, and a terrible noise, and the people screaming, and you could hear snapping and cracking, and the whole bridge fell down. Oh, not just one half of it, and it dumped everybody into the river. But the river wasn't deep, and then it covered up some people, trapped them in there. And I guess everybody was going in the water, a lot of GIs, but I got as close to I was on the wreckage and we started hauling up people, helping them, and they were climbing up, and there was this lieutenant there, and he saw two guys carrying a man. His head was underwater, and he said, pull up that man's head. And they did, and there was no head on it because the cable snapping had snapped it off. And the lieutenant got green and left. And then they turned off all the lights. And we wondered why, and we found out later the whole power to the town went under the bridge, and it didn't get, but it was safety. But then after half hour or so, we were still working in the dark. They came on again, and we were still pulling people, and mothers yelling, "Mein Kinder, mein Kinder," and they're trapped under the bridge. But then later I saw that there was a lot of injuries, but only 2 or 3 deaths, and this one without a head was one of them. And I saw I got an arm coming up, and it was just like it was snipped off at the suit coat he had on. Right, and you could see all the little nerves. He was white. No, this arm didn't have any color, no blood or nothing. It just washed in the, but it was all white and wiggly. And then the head came up, and I just barely got a hold of that, and I could tell it was heavy. And I passed it off to somebody else. I went home and wrote a real descriptive letter. And as I read it, I threw it away. I didn't want to send that to Mom and Dad. But I wish I'd have kept it, because there's things I remembered that night, but I don't remember now. But that was one of the worst things I saw in that place. Yeah.
Yeah, that was almost like seeing combat, you know.
Yeah, but I never got in combat.
That's good.
Yeah, I was really lucky, and had a real good time in the service. We'd take a train down to Zurich, Switzerland, on a 3-day pass, easy, because it would be like, I don't know, probably going up to Cross Lake, it was that close.
Wow, yeah.
And where Hitler had his place up there, that was right by it. We just go by, and it was right near. That story of Music Man. They were in Australia or Austria, but those mountains they went up were right by Germany too.
Oh, The Sound of Music.
Yeah, because they were Austria was right next to Germany, and then above them was Yugoslavia, and so that was a beautiful. And then we got on a train in Italy, and instead of taking a nice train, we jumped on this old train. That wooden boxcars, and natives were in there with their sheep and chickens, and we had a ball. And I looked out my window when the train stopped one day, and uptown there I saw this building hanging up. It's Pisa. I was in Pisa, and I didn't know it. The building was about 2 blocks away, but right lined up with that avenue,
Yeah.
So I saw that.
And you saw Rome, right? You went.
Yeah, I went to Rome.
The Vatican,
and I saw Pope Pius XII, but he was a little white man sitting on one of the 7 hills. So I didn't see him much, but he was only about that tall, and he's white. And I saw the Pope.
Yeah.
George Ernst had told his mom all these stories about Rome, and she said, and he hasn't changed to Catholicism. I can't understand him. He saw all this Catholic world, and like I say, I saw that room behind when you walk into St. Peter's and look to your left. There's a all wrought iron fence, and in there was gold and fancy everything. They had so many riches in there, and the country was poor. It was right after the war.
Yeah.
But they didn't lose anything. I mean, they didn't. You'd think they would sell that stuff, and no, they're going to hang on to it. So they're kind of I thought they were a selfish church,
Yeah.
But I saw the ceiling and in that, what room was it? The room that they choose a pope in. And they have, I forget, Sistine Chapel, and they have cleaned it all up since. It was kind of dull. Now it's real bright because they've gone up on, it was painted. He painted them on his back on a like you had at your house. Yeah, they had a bunch of. They climb up this thing and lay on his back. And how did he ever? I couldn't do that because you lose your perspective.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you got a big head over here and a little head over here, and I don't know how he laid that out.
Yeah.
That was kind of and the dome is like this, so it's amazing because they cleaned that up and it's beautiful.
Huh.
And we had a guy named Mike with us. His name was Mike, and he looked up at
This comes in all kinds of
Hi there, Mike. I'm Mike. He was a Protestant and the other two were Catholic, so he was a little
Yeah.
raunchy with it, but it was great.